Hello, I'm back. My video actually cut off. My phone is acting up, so I'm hoping that we can get through a little bit more. And let's see if there's anything else of interest here, because we certainly don't have to go through all of it of what I picked up. And I can really feel some heaviness here, quite a pulling heaviness. Here it feels more light and airy with this type of greenery, and this one looks pretty decent. It's really not decayed. It really feels light and airy around that. Really lifts up in this airy kind of like clouds, really. And this is pretty well gone. Let's see if that one's of interest to do right now. It is moving it out. I wonder about any of these in connection with it. Let's see. This is, I tried, it went over there and just to show they don't go together. These go together. Okay, these are alike. Although this one is more decayed, it's showing. These are like, these should not go together. This same thing, this should not be up against this. It's just not right, and it wants to again push this away. Okay, and there was an old piece of glass out. This other thing is just a tiny little flower. It has started to decay more since it's been here. It just was so tiny and delicate. And let's see what it does with that. It's the same kind of thing. It treats it a lot differently than those other items. You could just feel it's more in union with it. It's like a partner of it, and really, and wants to just move around its energy and dance with it and adore it and just be with it, because it's a friendly or connected energy. And there's that tiny petal there. It's doing the same thing of just being with it, and almost like, you know, giving it that honoring and love before it passes. It's really something to behold. See if it wants to do, and it does now. It says after it's been loved and given that, there's much more life coming from it. We've got this other thing there. I don't think it's affecting it, but there is a lot more flow outward since it's been getting, and it's again showing. It got that love and honoring, and this is just that tiny flower. Is everything benefits from that, and not just with nature, of course, it's with all things. Your partner, your child, everything benefits, and it's just jumping over like that. Okay, so next is this thing, and let's bring that out, and this is just another, looks like a piece of a light or headlight or something that broke and was on the ground. Okay, so let's see what happens. Oh, it's looking at that. It's giving this one more time. Then it tossed the paper out. It tossed that old dirty rope out. This one has been giving more time to it. And it feels like it wants to be there with it a little while to test it out. And I believe because it does have some interesting patterns in it. It looks like a little honeybees. Oh my gosh, the words aren't coming well tonight. But really, when you look at that, you can see how the light, and it just wants to show how every tiny thing, and again, this was on the ground as garbage, but watch how the light comes and draws down, and it's beautiful, really. You can just look at that, right? And again, this is something you'd kick aside. And look at the intricacy of each tiny little, what are those, hexagons? I'm not good at all that. But, you know, is there in that. And so I believe that's why it's wanting to be with it a while. So it's just got more of something, I guess, that's artistic, and it's got light coming through. It's got patterns. And so let's see what happens. Resting longer on it and getting more of a connection with it. It doesn't fit, it's not a love connection like the other. It's more of a, like something of interest to look at more than the other garbage that was laying there. Although it is saying it shouldn't be garbage, like it's scooting aside like it did the paper, but it's not pushing it off, but it's what it's saying is this should not be left on the ground like that. This is not, shouldn't be, again, up against this. It shouldn't be laying on this. It shouldn't be laying on the earth. It's this wants to get on there and show that. I can't really, it shouldn't be laying on Mother Nature. This is not, it shouldn't be there. However, it does hold some interest, and it could be reused for art or something for a child to show them how the light comes through this, and really take some time with it to show the detail of it. It could be used to set things on. I can feel my fingers tingling with this. It's really interesting. You could set things on it. You could even, the pendulum could rest on it. You could create something with it, and really take your time with that kind of thing rather than just kicking it aside. You could make a, what are those things that hang? You can see how articulate I am sometimes. Hang down for children to look at. And enjoy, and you know, get a bunch of them. That kind of, it's really art, and can be reused. And these things like this and so many things should not be just thrown. They should be looked at and reused in other ways, because this is got its own structure to it that's kind of amazing. Okay, so that is that. And again, it looks like I still got enough time, and let's make sure that this is pretty clear. Anything else to be said or brought forward, we're going to just go down the line, and it looks like it's fine right now. So I'm going to move forward with something that I felt would be really interesting. So I have the statue of Mary there, and I have a feather. Okay. And these are the shaman stones. This is the male and this is the female. This is a rosary. And then Om. So I'm going to place all those there. Oh, and then also Kali. Can't forget Kali. So those are all in the lineup. And what I was wanting to see when you look at these different symbols, I'm going to move some of the nature stuff away so that that's done with for the moment. And just as you did that, I just heard as I was, just a feeling of the nature things can be used on altars too. They really can be used in the little things that I had around. Tiny little nature things were one thing that the pendulum picked up as being, that's from the heart. You picked that up and cared for it, and you're using it in another way. So these are things, altars or other things. But anyway, what I wanted to look at was, I feel at least a lot of people may envision Mary as being a separate energy, this mother energy that's so nurturing. Not to say it's not, and that's not part of what Mary represents, but how these are all one in nature. So we've got Kali We've got the rosary. We've got, these are all very different. The shaman stones. We have the native, like a Native American feather, and then Mary, and then the Om, which would be more Hindu. So let's see. I'm so curious to see what happens with this, with the pendulum. And before I started, I did ask the pendulum if this was agreeable to do, because, you know, it's just, at least for here, I just feel like this divine force that comes through should be honored, and nothing to play with. So I definitely don't, and I never do bring out anything that I feel in my heart is against that, but I do ask and make sure that's a fine thing to do, as well as, and will come out as in an agreeable way, as well as which pendulum to use. And this was the one. Okay, so let's just see what happens with that energy in my heart to, as a question, as a query. And this is really in hopes that this may help humanity to get a different vision of things, because sometimes people will look at this, I don't know, I don't feel most that interested in it, but you know, in another way, rather than people saying, oh, it's all one, you know, to see it displayed in energy. So it is getting a feel of all of these things, and I'm going to actually put Mary down because I feel like that could knock over, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so we're seeing, so it is testing out each one to get a feeling this how each one connects. Okay, so there's Kali. It's moving Kali over to the rosary. Wanting to say Kali over here. So let's do that. And just to touch that, which means, you know, those are connected actually. Okay. Those are connected, and you feel, it's just such a good feeling, all this. It actually feels better than when it was sitting there alone. I'm not making this up. The energy is more happy when it is connected with this. I can feel some tingling even in my hands that wasn't there before when they were all sitting there very separate. So it's a happier flow of energy now that these things are touching. They're not living as separate ideations. Let's see if it wants to, what it wants to do with these shaman stones, which I feel are very different in energy. They're substance. They feel like the earth. They feel like Tantra to me. And I love these. I really do. If anyone's interested in getting one, then you use your pendulum to figure out which one's male, which one's female. And I used my pendulum before I bought them, and this pendulum told me these were good ones for my energy or for what I work with or whatever. I mean, so it's going like showing these are together. Okay, so let's put those two together. And it may even form an interesting pattern. I have no idea. These should not be split in mind, which means male, female. This is female, showing you this is male. These should not be split in mind, male and female. They're one. That's what it's showing. And the circle here is feminine, divine. This is, or I'm sorry, that's male, and this is female. The larger one, womb-like, womb-like. And these are one. Okay, this is one flow of energy, not separate. Okay, so let's see what else it does with this feather. And I just got these, and it just was kind of going, woo, you know, really feeling out how this is curved so delicately, comes upward. And that this is the bright red, this is black. You can just feel it drinking that in. And as it does this, I can feel like, whoa, this really curves up in a graceful manner. And so let's see what it's going to do. And it is touching that. It's touching that as kind of, these have more similar qualities here. It doesn't mean that it's separate, but it's just showing you, to most people at least, or the way this is the shaman and the Native American, and these are not together, but have more similar qualities in many ways. So let's see what else. And so that wants to be there like that. But it does flow down, and it shows this break. Let's see what it does to this break. It's so quiet right here. Unbelievable. Oh my gosh. I don't think I felt that much stillness and energy. My arm almost goes empty, my hand. And it wants to hang here as this, oh my goodness, what a force. You can see it moving out, like it did when it pulled to my heart that time. It moves out. Wow. And you can see the crucifix there. Oh my goodness, that's a strong, beautiful, actually, force. And it feels just holy. It feels holy is the best word. If you feel these things are in touch with them, you know this feels holy. This is showing. I didn't even consider how this crucifix or the rosary was placed like this, but that's what this energy does. It makes it just right, and it's going to this, which is interesting. Gosh, it's just as light. It's light like feathers, like heaven. Really, it's a heaven energy. And let's see if it wants to put that there. It does, so let's do that. And the way these connect up are good. It's going to be like an energy. I want to call them healing, divine energy connections. So it's wanting to put that more up, and so this is what it looks like. So let's see what happens. I don't know if it'll work to sit on there. Probably not. Oh, it does. How nice. So see if this is what it wants. It did want that. It wants that resting there, because there's ancient wisdom there in all of this. There's love there. There's a unity there. There's mystery, which these shaman balls really represent. There's mystery. It wants to show it. Whoops. And it won't keep. It just won't be the same unless I put it like that. So I really do. Sometimes, you can get lazy and say, oh, I don't want to put that back there. But it makes all the difference. So, what it was trying to show is it's rich. It's richness. It's earth-like. It's truth. It's truth. It's knowledge. It's all of it. All of it. All of it. And it just is getting, oh my gosh, the feeling is really amazing, like a heaven energy. Okay, so let's move forward and see what it's going to do with Mary. And it is having her wanting Mary to rest in this like a cradle. So let's do that. Okay, we'll rest Mary there. Again, if we can, sometimes you just got to do it the best you can, but the pendulum will get very insistent on how this is done and very particular. Okay, so it's resting there. It's resting there, and again, it does have something to do with the connection to Christ. The laying down of drama, the laying down of sorrow, the laying down of mental boxes. So now it's yes, and now it's freeing up as a way to say this is the way. Lay it down, connect as one. Don't keep things, and it wants to show this, then this way over here, then this way over here, with this beautiful offering of culture and beauty and art and love, and the same it will go up to Mary's heart, and I can't quite see it, the same heart. Okay, so let's see, we've got this, we've got the Om, which is the Hindu. It's whirling around nicely, and again, when they're connected, that's when it felt like heaven energy. not connected. This is a whole different, even though it's whirling and to look at it, it may look the same. It doesn't feel the same, not even close. So let's see where it wants this to go. Up here, okay? And then we've got another, although that doesn't look like it's touching. I wonder if that's what it wants it to do, or touch. And it does. It wants to have it be dragged down so that it is touching and under. It's under there because Om is the first sound that resonates. So that's what it's trying to display. It's the first projection or sound that brings these various manifestations that you, at least to the mind, that may seem separate, but they all stem from this same Om that is the beginning of energy. It's the beginning of energy. And manifestation is what that means. The first one. So, okay, so they're all connected in and with this. Let's see how, if it wants to flow or what it wants to do. It may draw a diagram now of how, if this changes things when they're felt as one, even if it's just in faith. It doesn't have to mean that you're realized, but just the faith and the openness of opening arms to all of all the differences. And so it's just, it wants to even just connect from here to here, like nothing is away from this Om, or this energy, this void from which this energy rises. And you can see rays, or feel rays of energy that move. This is also, see if this is a healing way of looking, a healing vision, a healthy vision, okay, a loving vision. And it just wants to go through it and keep showing this is, woof, ooh, nice now, a nice unobstructed flow, okay, that goes. And it's this way because all of these were here, and the way my table is, I don't know if it would have lined up differently, and it is saying yes, it may have lined up differently. If there's a different, everything makes a difference, everything will change, but the message, the heart of this would be the same. So that is that. Let's see if there's anything else. There is something else, so let's see what that is. Okay, I believe what it's feeling is like when this comes, this unity or this feeling of one, all is one, when that's held, or at least even in faith, like I say, there's space, there's room to breathe, there's breath, there's air, there is a sacred, there's a flow of energy, there's a force field that can be where other things can be attracted to it that are harmonious. Okay, so when they're separate, things cannot be attracted to it that are harmonious. What's attracted to it is similar energy, which would be energy that has that same mindset of separation or whatever is harbored in there. Okay, so that's it. That space revolves and refreshes and revitalizes. It is like a recycling of air and energy that it helps to create. So let's see if there's anything more. It looks like this is ending, and it's nice. Okay, so anyways, thank you for coming, and for those that are interested in this, I hope you can feel some of this energy whirling around this beautiful, okay, I'm sorry, I just use the same words, and I don't know, but I think people get it. You know, we're looking at something that's one here. Okay. I'm so articulate. I'm glad I have this spirit speak, because you can leave out words and be very basic. That's very much me, okay? So, all right. So, all right, we're ending this now. Namaste. Bye-bye.